Welcome to our first pop-up business talk of 2025.
Woo!
Today we're discussing the power of giving back to our communities, a topic inspired by the spirit of this holiday season. My name is Diana Spinka. I'm the producer of the stream, and I'm delighted to be here with our leading marketing and networking expert, Victor Nichols. And we are also very thrilled to welcome Sue Vorcheimer, Director of Marketing at 1776 Morristown, and the owner of Sue V Marketing NPR.
Hi.
Sue, let me start with you. Why did you choose this topic, and why it's so important to you?
You know what? It was just like a natural knee-jerk reaction to choose this topic. I have found myself in a really lucky position with the 1776 Morristown restaurant when we created it a couple of years ago, to be able to create a brand, which I've always wanted to do. And so to be able to be given that opportunity to do that and work alongside an amazing team. And then we opened in Morristown, and I was sort of new to Morristown, lived next door. But just like any new person moving into a community, I kind of treated it as like, if I were to move into Morristown, what's the natural thing to do when you move into a new community, is get to know your neighbors. So I think naturally it just happened that I wanted to get to know everybody. I wanted to understand what the charities were in town, what the businesses were, who the people were, who were running, who's the mayor, who's, and so as we started creating our brand and opening our restaurant, designing our restaurant, 1776, and obviously it's the headquarters of George Washington. There's a lot of history. There was just a lot to learn about the community, and connecting to the community, in my mind, made perfect sense when you were going to be welcoming people into your home, which is your restaurant. I didn't think of it as, again, it's not just me, there's a team of people, but when you're the marketing person, you're kind of in charge of creating what people see and think of when they hear of 1776, the social media, right?
Yeah, and the interesting thing about that is that they sometimes don't realize how important it is to connect to the community in a meaningful way, in a philanthropic way, right? Because that's sometimes lower on the totem pole when you're
none. A lot of restaurants, and nothing against anybody else. They probably wouldn't even, because they're going in, we got to give good food. We need to make sure that the service is good. All those things are like super important. Forget the philanthropic part of it. But if you don't have those things, that's the most important. But to your point, philanthropic is like a really interesting way to, connect to your community. And when people see you giving back, they have a warm feeling, just like a person, when you're a caring person as a friend and you're building a relationship with somebody. I tend to give more than I have to work on that for January 20, for 2025. Giving too much. I'm asking people to pour into my cup this year.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you've earned it. I mean, I've known you for quite some time, and I think you've earned that.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I mean, I know that motivations are not necessarily, and I know your motivations are not necessarily quid pro quo. I know mine aren't.
Mm-hmm.
However,
mm-hmm.
there is a caveat there. Mm-hmm. There are some expectations that if something comes around and when it comes around where you want to be able to, say, hey, this is a mutually beneficial relationship. And that's why many streets go both ways. There's not a whole lot of one ways. Okay. All right.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's got to go both ways, or it's not, it's not an efficient way to do things.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably, really think about it. If every street was one way, how'd you get anywhere? So, it's all problematic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you tell me a few examples of the benefits that your business got, maybe in some unexpected ways, something that happened, out of charity or, your philanthropic efforts that were a little unexpected?
Yeah. I think I've always been searching, as much as I love to give to a lot of different charities, and we created this 1776 Connects Business Club, and a lot of it is a marketing idea in terms of They get a lot of benefits, but one of them is we get to put on a big event, we market it, we ticket it for them. But what kept happening is that every time we did one of these events, we naturally paired up with a charity, and that always made the event sell more. And I started realizing, because it happened naturally, and then I started realizing that it makes more sense when you do align with a charity, because it makes, there's a lot of money in this area. That doesn't mean that everybody wants to give it to you.
Boy, that was a good statement.
I have a cough too, so I'm going to drink a little tea here and there.
Sure, no problem. Thank you everybody for joining us. James, thank you for joining us too, and hello everyone. If you want to be a guest on the stream in the future episodes, please reach out to me directly or DM Vic, and we'll be happy to talk about the things and how we can do things together.
Love it. So as we've been doing these events for each one of these members, I also started thinking maybe we should really find a charity that speaks to the 1776 brand name. Why not? Why not? And that doesn't mean we can't align with a lot of different charities, but I was always very curious about Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Mm-hmm. It's very, it's more local, although their outreach is national. And so I aligned with one of my members, and I pitched it to them, said, would you want to do your big event with them? And so we did. And it started small, although we did name it a gala. So I guess once you do that, you're kind of, locked into it being sort of a big deal.
Yeah, I'm just going to you use that word, and all of a sudden it's like, whoop.
And the more I laugh, the more I talk.
Potato chips and French fries.
So anyways, so we ended up we started to plan it, but then lo and behold, one of our investors, her son was a Marine, and he was going off to training, and so I brought her on, and then that connected to the Mendham community and everyone that she knew and all the investors. And all of a sudden, one of the gentlemen in town who started a podcast in the Morristown stimulus plan, they decided to help do a GoFundMe and bring firefighters, pay for the firefighters to come to the event. And then it just started to snowball. And I felt so good about myself and our restaurant and the social media that we were putting out. There's no way that you couldn't want to come to our restaurant. And that obviously that's the beauty of good marketing. But that wasn't the idea that was behind it.
Right. That wasn't what you set out.
I wasn't like, I'm gonna fool everybody and I'm gonna pick this and we're gonna get everybody in the doors. And
right.
That's not what happened. It naturally happened. But I guess, obviously that's something that I'm good at. I do recognize that I like to promote, I like to bring people together. And I think if I've done anything for our 1776 brand, I've been able to help put forth a beautiful message that make people want to make reservations. And I think it helps. I do believe it helps.
Do you think it has some effect on your team too? Not just the customers, on your team as well?
Yeah, I mean, in the restaurant business, there's a lot of young people that are your servers. And I love mentoring. And I think that you can't help but show them that this is a beautiful way to engage in business. Like it's, showing empathy, compassion, helping others. It makes them and everyone be more proud to work for a company. And I think you'll have better retention in your company, right, Vic?
I think you're going to have better retention, and you're also going to attract better talent when you are actually looking for talent, because those people, they're going to come in and they're going to talk with they're even whether they're servers, whether they're managers, wherever they are, they're going to have a dialogue with the people who are already there, unless they're brain dead. They're going to say, hey, what's it like? What's this like, and all of those things. And if you've built, and we've talked about this before, if you've built a culture and this is part of your culture, you are looking for people to be, to actually embrace what your culture is, because, we've had these conversations all the time. And I know you face what I'm about to say, is that you can have somebody who's extremely talented, but if they are really don't fit into your culture,
Mm-hmm.
they can be very problematic, and the juice ain't worth the squeeze. So it doesn't matter how talented they are.
Okay. No, it really doesn't. No, I mean, they could be the best bartender, chef, server, manager, and technically know how to, close out the day or make a schedule and all that. All those things are very important. But when you don't have a human quality, compassion. I know that there's a lot of people that we are friendly with and follow that believe that, kindness, caring. There's those people, those companies.
It's good. It's good from a human standpoint of view,
Mm-hmm.
and it's good from a business standpoint of view.
100%.
And that's the thing that, when you say that to somebody who's running a business, starting a business, trying to get into a business, that's where they're going to perk up, because they're trying to get something off the ground. But you don't want this to be truly an afterthought. You want to bake it into your idea and bake it into what it is that you're doing moving forward, because it can bring you, as you've just, illuminated, that it can bring you business.
Right. Yeah. It's the natural effect.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
James Orsini is asking you to tell a story about you winning the charity bid that won your son a dinner with Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah. Hi, James. Actually, that's a really funny story. So we had in New Jersey, in Morristown, we're very close with the Jets because their practice facility is very close by. Got to be very close with the ex-coach's wife, Sanaa. Gary V obviously is a big Jets fan. I got to meet James Orsini through Vic, and both of them have become mentors of me. I follow them. I listen to what they say, and it always strikes a chord whenever I'm seeing what they post or talk about. So we did this charity event. Sanaa Star, she has a beautiful charity to help children for sexually molested children. And so we had a Casino Royale event, and James got Gary V to donate time of his. And so we had a live auction, and my son is a big Gary V fan, as am I. And I was determined to win this live auction. Sorry. We raised, there was a lot of other auction items that were going on, and we raised, I couldn't believe, there was probably 50 people there. We raised a lot of money for Sanaa and her organization. But as soon as this came on, and I was kind of hosting the event, I was like, I was going to pummel anybody that outbid me, and I don't have a lot of money, but anyways, I went toe to toe, and I literally, I was bullying this one woman. I think that was, she was my friend, but I was like, and I lost the bid, and I was like, what, I wasn't going to make a spectacle, but so I have a little birdie. What I believe to happen is, so James and his wife were there. Claude Silver was there. She's the chief heart officer of Vayner. I believe somebody got on the phone with, I don't know if it was Gary, but in my head, it was Gary, and he offered another opportunity to be bid, knowing that obviously I was going to bid. And I basically went around to everyone and basically told everyone they weren't allowed to bid on it.
It's not happening.
That was, yeah.
Not under my watch.
In the spirit of giving, it was a beautiful night. It was a very, I was obviously, it meant a lot to be able to give that to my son. And my son, I'm going to cry, but for him to be able to give that opportunity to my son, I still thank you, James, for helping organize that. Thank you, Vic, for letting me meet James.
But see, that's how all of this works. And I think that is the quintessential example of how all of this works and comes full circle, right? Mm-hmm. Because it is about connectivity, but it's also about meaningful connectivity.
Yeah.
It's not just about, connecting people for the sake of connecting people.
Right. No, there's no forceful.
No. You see what evolves, but going in that, hey, these are people who should know each other. right?
Yeah, right.
Sometimes you have sometimes there is a specific ask.
Yeah.
Many times there's not. And it's, hey, you guys really, you're moving in the same spheres. You guys really should know each other.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that story, and it's a nice one.
Thanks for asking for that, James.
Yeah, so our stream is mostly dedicated for small business owners, and so if small business doesn't have big budgets, or what can they do, and how can they give back to the community? Like, give me, I don't know, like 3-5 examples on top of your mind.
Yeah, I mean, we're a perfect example of a small business. I mean, people think that maybe that because we're a big restaurant, that we had a big budget, but there was no money. And I didn't know anything about social media 6 years ago. This concept kind of started in 2018, but as it was moving forward, I just created an Instagram account attached to my personal account, which was probably not a good idea, but I didn't know. I just like, I'll start talking about it. And so I think the biggest thing, if you're just a small business and you're opening up, is just, doing these, meet your neighbor nights, or ways to just bring people in, offer, on your social media, do little contests, you figure out what, something that's trending, and offer them a free ice cream, and, silly questions on your Instagram, what's your favorite ice cream, and whoever picks, these are all silly things, but just, it's really, I mean, you could even chat GBT it, like, what are some fun contests to engage with your customers? We did that all the time, but right now, I think you figure out what people like to do. Like right now we're doing Sunday brunches. People like to dress up. It's the funniest thing. It doesn't cost you a penny. So, right. So it's, pretty in pink brunch, dress in pink. And then, and then everybody tell them to take pictures and follow you. And then you'll, give a $25 gift certificate to the best dressed customer that walks into your restaurant or your ice cream shop, or, you know what I mean? Like, and then people like to, be involved in your social media. I think that's the big thing. Talk to them. Engage with them. I think that's the big thing. Engaging with your customers, and talk to them when they walk in the door. What do they like to do? But I think when you keep telling them like, oh, just come eat our this, come do this, and you continue to just tell them what to do instead of asking them what they like to do. You can figure out some clever things in your marketing that cost no money, maybe $50, that really will just make your clients feel like you're listening to them and you're doing things because they gave you the idea. Give everybody the credit. Never take credit for things. That
is such a good piece of information and a good piece of advice, because you're absolutely right. People want to be a part of something. And if you make them feel genuinely now, not in a manufacturing way, but if you make them feel that you want them as part of your orbit, your universe, your business, what you're doing, and the way in which you treat them, every touch point, all of a sudden they want to be a part of that, and then the real bonus is not only them being a part of it, but them being evangelists to bring in more people to be a part of it.
Never toot your own horn. That's my other one. Let other people toot it for you.
Yeah, if you're doing the right thing, they will.
Yes, exactly. Obviously, if everything to that point is you're doing the right things, engaging with your clients in the right ways, you're learning about them. I think it's important. You need to figure out, when you're an owner of a business and you have customers, you better damn well make sure that you get to know all of your customers. You find out that Susie Smith's, mom just passed away, or, someone's in the hospital, or they're very passionate because, with veterans or this or that. Figure out what everybody's excited about. Figure out who the leaders are in your community. Let them speak for you. Let them hold meetings at your place.
I do love the idea of our finding what they like and give it to them. There is coffee shop or chain here in the town where I live. And what they do, they provide space for yoga classes, for free yoga classes.
Yeah.
So they just they probably pay the instructor, but a lot of people come for one free yoga session in the center of the city with the great view on the rooftop. It basically costs them close to nothing. But in me, it creates the idea, like the feeling that I have to give back to the coffee shop. Like I have to buy a cup or two because like I need to give back for the value that I got. And I guess this is also how it works. You give back, but you get a lot of more. Like
that is absolutely
a perfect example.
And I'm going to share the one, and I might have even shared it in one of the posts, but here in my town, there's a food organization that feeds, people who are in need of food, an organization called Mend. And this is some years back. And I remember talking to their executive director, and I want to be involved in my community. And I mean, I talked to a lot of the nonprofits, but they were having a very, very, hard problem to solve. They needed a vehicle to start distributing more food. Now, this back to what we're talking about, low cost, but more about thinking broader. So I'm like, well, I certainly can't buy them a bus. However, do I know anybody who might have, so turns out, a friend of mine, he had like 6 or 7 buses sitting on his lot. Okay. Group 1 investments over in Newark. And he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with these buses. I mean, I don't even know how he acquired them. But I went to him and I said to him, Ed, do you think you might want to donate one of those buses? He's like, absolutely. I told him about the organization. He said, absolutely. And he actually fixed the bus up. He made sure it was tip-top condition, and he donated the bus to the organization. And I saw the bus riding around, and I mean, I was like, it was really,
awesome.
Truly the most amazing thing. Now that cost me nothing monetarily. Right. But aside from that, then the second half of that was they invited me to an event, and they gave me an award. They gave Ed an award and myself an award as a result of this. And all of a sudden that helped not only the organization, but it also helped me. It helped
100%.
me, it helped me, meeting new people that I didn't know, all of these things. So it doesn't have to cost anything if you're playing heads up ball.
Yeah, we got a question from Reese. Sue, it's for you.
Okay.
What has moved the needle the most with the least investment into your restaurant?
It's a good question.
I think there's a lot of them, but I'm gonna talk about something that I'm working in right now because it's very current and it reminds me of how important it is. We started this Pass the Crown Around initiative based on, it's funny, and I don't mean to be plugging this because it's right behind me, this painting. The artist created a life-size Lady Liberty painting at the restaurant. In the beginning, there's a lot of talk about the founding fathers at 1776. And we wanted to just add a little bit of a female touch. So Lady Liberty lives at 1776. But when that happened, myself and the artist came up with the idea of maybe wanting to giving back to women and helping them kickstart their business. So literally just having like brunches, lunches, events that, engaging with women. Women are so phenomenal at bringing in business. When you connect with them, they just naturally want to help other people. So this Pass the Crown initiative started off as just a lunch on International Women's Day. And it created such a broad circle of women that then just have chosen 1776 as their favorite restaurant based on just being able to give them a place with these events that are, nominating women in business, giving back to women in business. And just by creating these little niche style events or being known for something that doesn't cost a lot of money, but it when you can bring people together, commonalities, and give them a place to socialize, to hang out, to feel good at, and then help them with their businesses. That has been like it was the most natural, organic thing that has happened. And now we're in our 4th year I'm now having it at our other restaurant in Jersey City this year. We had 200 women come last year. We had to sell out. One of the years we ended up helping Tara Burney, her yoga house. She opened a yoga studio based on this lunch. We helped raise awareness. And
that's
then
a story. That's a story.
Right. We helped raise awareness in town. And then social media, when it's used correctly, people just kept talking about it. It became the buzz in town. And then one of our investors helped her with flooring and painting. And by the time the International Women's Day event came around 2 years ago, when we had it honoring her yoga studio opened like that day, she got the keys for it. So it was just an idea like that didn't cost any money, that brought people together. And then now we're in our 4th year. We're going to have our own magazine. And the idea is just makes, the 1776 restaurant still, it's at our other restaurant in Jersey City, but it makes it all feel good. Like our brand just does good things based on just an idea. I don't know if that answers your question.
So that was the beginning of that was low investment.
Yeah.
And monumental return.
Yeah. No, 100%.
That kept on giving.
Yeah. I think I think everyone, when you have an idea and you think it's crazy, because I used to think that, just mention it to somebody. I guarantee you the person, and mention it to the right person. Call me. I'll tell you you're not crazy. But I think you can do anything you put your mind to. And typically, it will come together in ways you've never imagined for your business. Don't be afraid to take risks at all. I think that,
and I don't think you can say that enough. You know what I mean? And especially when you have new people coming into business, you want to take risks and you want them to be calculated, but you have to be willing to take a risk. Nothing is going to happen unless you actually do something. Okay, right. You got to do it.
Yeah. If you're going to put yourself out there with a business that you have to open your door and sell something, it's not going to work if you just say I'm selling, ABC product. It's not.
And you keep it so tight. And so, because it's not going to grow. It's not going to flourish. It's an unwatered seed. You might get a sapling and then it's going to die.
100%. And I think people get so trapped in, and I know, like when you have a restaurant, people just think people will go there for food. You know what? Your restaurant can act as a vessel for so many other things. It can turn into an art gallery. We've had an art show in our swing suites. It's not just for showing up and playing golf. It's a million other things that you can do there. If someone comes to us and says, we want to, have an art show, we said, a fashion show or whatever, like use your space to, it can change. And you just think outside the box. That's been my biggest, don't get trapped.
And have that fear of that something doesn't, because another thing in a situation when you're running a business, especially a business like yours, you may have a key client who says, my son or daughter is looking to break into this industry or whatever. Might you have an opportunity for them to work here or whatever? Those types of things. I mean, if you have that opportunity available, those kinds of things are gold bullion, because you're helping somebody young, you're helping your client, all of these things, and you're helping yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I know personnel is hard to find.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And then, right, you're growing a family. I mean, I think it doesn't matter how big your business is when it starts, like you have to think of your company as your family. Yeah. People you need to care about them, treat them right.
Yeah,
they need to respect you and you need to respect them. It goes both ways.
Yep.
Reese is asking your permission to use your idea at his studio.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Reese says that he loves your idea and he's asking your permission to use it at his studio.
Absolutely.
See, valuable information being exchanged. There you go.
Yeah, that's why we are.
And there has to be. there has to be reporting back on how it worked.
Yeah, exactly. Because
100%.
I guess that's why we started these streams to, or help other businesses to find new ideas, find new ways to market, new strategies, and so on. So when you have an idea, how do you market it? How do you promote it? Where do you start? So you come up with an idea to run an event.
Mhm.
What do you do next?
So, for instance, we the owners of the company 2 years ago wanted to do those igloos. I don't know if you remember the ones that are outside. It's wintertime. They during COVID got very popular.
They were big in New York and in some other
places. And they are, and so like great, like they bought the igloos, and I love like and so I was like, well, what are we gonna do with them? Like you know what I mean? But I knew that obviously I'm capable of coming up with it, and I did. So I was so I started thinking. I looked at all the social media of all the igloos out there. I spoke to one of my partners who's in the liquor business and saw that another company did champagne chalets. Again, when you copy somebody, it's not stealing ideas. It's a form of flattery.
It's amplification. I call it amplification.
I mean, there's no original idea really. Maybe Adam and Eve had an original idea, but nobody else has had an original idea. We're all just working off of somebody else's really good idea, right?
This is very true. Yeah.
So, it's all about calling it something more than it is. So champagne chalets, I was like, great. We had a great relationship with Veuve Clicquot Champagne. We decorated them. We got some merchandise from them. We made them beautiful, went to Home Goods about 10,000 times. We made them so beautiful. And then we took photos and on social media just with our phone, and the views, obviously went off the roof because they were so pretty. And as you drove by the green, how could you not want to come in and check out our champagne chalets? But we did a social media campaign. Again, doesn't cost any money for the most part, of just creating reels on your phone. And then just created a small menu. And then, Veuve Clicquot obviously helped us a little bit with, making sure, we always make their orange cups and their this and that. So it turned out to be a very sought after promotion, and it made us special and stand out amongst other restaurants. But truly in the beginning, I was freaking out because I was like, what are we doing with them? You can't just put an igloo when it's
in the front of your restaurant.
Like 20 of them, or we had 10 all over, make it work is basically, and it was a great idea, but you need the marketing and the promotion person. And then most importantly, if your team can't activate it, then it goes downhill too. So
execution is key.
Execution is key. Key.
A good idea poorly executed is a bad idea.
100%. So I will say there were some glitches. I did find some people drinking in plastic cups when the social media showed them drinking in the Veuve Clicquot glasses, and I'd be like, "Oh my God,
help me!"
They're drinking out of a XYZ beer plastic cup. Yeah. That's not what the experience is. Whatever. But it was our first go, and I congratulated the team for it's certainly to the public. It looked beautiful, and we made it feel like you were going to the Swiss Alps and après ski, and we made people feel like that, so not everybody can afford to do that at the time, and it gave people an escape. And that's what you try to do.
That's a great case study, by the way.
It actually is.
That's a great, you should definitely get that down. That's a great case study. I mean, you now have it on tape. So
yeah. Right.
So I hear that social media plays a huge role in your promotions and marketing.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like, is it like the main source for promotions?
It has been. I think when you're a startup company and you don't have marketing dollars, I mean, it's the last department, to get funded, because you need to get your gross sales and, up and pay all of your employees and make sure, at the end of the day, it's expensive to run a restaurant. And your phone is your best friend. they were lucky enough to have me a part of the team.
Absolutely.
I'm sort of obsessive. I was obsessive, certainly in the beginning, to create, to help them and us create a brand, and put the message out. So I found it, and I got a lesson from Miss Morristown. She is an influencer in town, and she was giving a class called How to Give a Gram. And she and I learned, I'm 50 something years old. At the time I was, maybe not as inept as other people would be, younger people. And I didn't really know how to use Instagram. But I did know how to take a good picture, and I did know what people like. And I think that's the basis. So in the beginning, it was just me working with our team, and going based on what the needs of the business were, and also just trying to tell stories. I think that's the big thing. Getting to know our people, our servers, we're not, fun stories through social media. We now, thank goodness, we just hired a digital marketing company. So now I have a group of people, I get the ideas and I communicate to them. And so we have maybe more professional photographers coming on board, and helping, so that I can help us grow. And as we grow as a company, kind of rinse and repeat as we grow.
Yeah, because you doing everything can be problematic. One, it's going to be limiting on what you actually can do. And
100%.
And you're not really using what your talents are, which is, look, I've got a panoramic view here. Okay. And these are the things that I believe this is the movie on how I see it's going to unfold. Well, you can't come up with all those ideas, film it, produce it, and everything else. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, no, it like everything, there is no I in team.
Yeah, exactly. And you definitely have to do that. And it take, you know what? I'm glad you touched on that in that way, because it's something that I always try to remind folks of, is that there is no way to scale a business by yourself,
Amen. Hallelujah.
To let go.
Let go.
Let go. Oh my God. So many folks I know. And I have folks who are way, way far along in their businesses, and they still are micromanaging. I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's like crazy.
Let it go. Let it go. Yeah.
Let it go. Exactly. You can always you guide, you lead, you do those things, but you
train.
Yep.
You give up. Yeah. And what it's amazing
on that one, because it's so important to be reminded.
I found lately, we hired this group of, and they're younger. And I love working with younger people. I have a 23-year-old son who is so smart as well.
In awesome. Brand. That kid is like brilliant.
Alec. But I said young adults, kids is not the right word to use. I'm learning so much from them. And I'm able to do more because they can get what I would like to do out quicker, better. I'm like, our social media and our flyers and our promotions right now are looking more the way I always wanted them to, because they just know how to, they get it and they can create it in a way that it looks more on brand and as, where we want to go. So.
Right. It's a beautiful lesson.
It's
a beautiful lesson. Took me a long time too when I started my business. It took me a long time to let it go. I mean, part of it was obviously when it's real early. Part of it's financial, but
100%.
But when you get to that point where you are making a little bit of money and you're saying to yourself, well, you know what? If I do this, I can keep that money. Wrong freaking move. Okay, wrong. You've got to figure out how you can, you can be frugal, but you've got to get folks to assist.
Yeah.
So if going back to our main topic of the stream, can you give some advice, or maybe talk about some of the mistakes that can, that businesses can face when they start doing something for the community, start giving back, start their philanthropic efforts, what would be the mistakes to avoid?
I think just be careful to spread yourself too thin. You know, especially when you are a giving person and you want to say yes to everybody. What I've realized, and I know a lot of restaurants out there and businesses in town, you know, there's so many people that are calling that want you to donate $100, $1,000, you know, smaller nominal donations. But I don't think people understand the amount of people that are asking for money. And I think one of the things, and I'm not saying that our company does this, but if I were to, if you asked me to make the decision for our company, what I would say is that, or any company, you know, that's facing this, you want to be a part of the community, you want to give back. Choose a bucket or 3 buckets, whether it be kid focused, you know, food focused, all right, veteran focused, whatever it may be. And put out on your website and on your social media that these are the buckets, and we have these events every year to give back, and every year maybe we rotate and we give back. And you know, obviously set a budget that maybe you can only donate $200 a month to those smaller, you know, tricky tray things. But be very careful, because before you know it, you're spending, you know, the golf tournaments out there. Oh my Lord. You know, I mean, I know everyone loves to play golf, but there's a lot of money being asked for.
You can spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
You really can. And and then people get angry at you when you don't give money. It's like really upsetting. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel like all I do is like try to give back. And now this one woman finds me in a place where I can't give to her. Because it's for a school that's not even like, it's an hour away, and
you're not even where I am.
Sorry, I try to avoid getting my cough out. I'm putting a lozenge in. And I just had this cough for 2 weeks. I was so nervous I was going to have a coughing attack on this, but I'd say that's what I would be wary of. I would be proactive, find where you want to give back, and sort of try to control it, and share the message as to, you know, to the public as to where you're putting your money. And it's quite it'll be quite obvious that you are a giving company. But you need to do it strategically, or else you're going to go broke. You could go under based on the amount of little donations, 1,000 here, 200 here. At the end of the month, you've given out $10,000.
It chips away. People, you say, "Oh, I need you to come. I want you to come to this gala. I want you to come to this event. I want you to come." And then all of a sudden, you're looking at it. You know, you're $10,000, $15,000. You're like, whoa.
Right. Yeah. And at the end of the year, you're looking at where could we have cut back costs? Like, it's not. Yeah. It's just, you need to be more strategic. You can give. Just create a plan. Do it
with purpose. I would say the one thing I'd also add to that too is manage the relationship and manage the expectation, and hold the nonprofit accountable for the things they are supposed to do. Okay. I've dealt with nonprofits, not a lot. I've been fortunate, but through my career where it's, let's do this thing together, and we're going to do this. We're going to promote this, and we're going to get our folks here, and we're going to get out the whatever it is. And that's their side of the ledger sheet. Okay. We want you to put up some money. We want you to do this, this, and this, and this. Okay. And then we do what we're supposed to do, but they didn't do what they were supposed to do. And even though you're a nonprofit, I'm not giving you a pass on not keeping your word.
No, nonprofits are business too. And I've spoken to a lot of nonprofits.
Yeah. I will not give you a pass on not keeping your word. So you've got to, I mean, things happen. I'm not saying that everything's perfect. That's not really what I'm getting at. It's more about, if you manage that relationship and make sure that you are doing the things and they are doing the things, that sometimes some of the smaller organizations are like, look, well, we got them to do that. And they just move on to something else. And they forgot that they have obligations in order to make this work. You know, that kind of
Yeah.
So it all narrows down to communication and just getting the right feel from the conversation, from the initial conversation.
Yeah, managing their expectations of what you can do for them.
Perfect. And then it builds a longer term relationship. I mean, that relationship can go on for years if the understanding is, is
right. And that's a great, it's great I'd rather be giving back to less nonprofits, but being more impactful with the people that I'm giving back to. Yeah. Again, like, what's my $25, no offense, going to do to the local library versus when I do this 9/11 gala every year now, we raised like over $25,000 for Tunnel to Towers.
That's serious money, and it's going to help people who really need it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, local veterans. So, I mean, that's something that we're committed to. We want to help local veterans, first responders, as a brand, and we'll continue to do that. It was successful. It worked both ways, and we'll do it again next year.
Mm-hmm. That's perfect.
What is your next event?
My next event, personally, so I kind of started Sue V marketing PR, not in a big way, just because there's just a couple projects that I've been working on. And again, you need to have more than one bucket these days to pay the rent. And so, this Pass the Crown Around is something that sort of, I helped to create, and I'm sort of managing the initiative in terms of, we've had it at the restaurant in Morristown, but there's no reason. I've always said that we're going to have it at our spaces. So we're opening in Jersey City, the district, on 210 Hudson Street, Harborside building overlooking the water. It's beautiful. The district is open now for business, but we are going to bring Pass the Crown Around initiative on International Women's Day. This is our 4th annual. I just announced it on social media on Pass the Crown Around and the district, which is the restaurant as well, and myself. But we expect to have 200 women. We are announcing every day the 12 women that we will be honoring. Mm. Each one of them is an entrepreneur, and in some way, this network of women, and through all of the efforts of the magazine and social media, everything that we do, it brings light to what they're doing. And every year when we have these luncheons, it is amazing. Because I see them happening online with social media. The people that come to this lunch, when they meet, everyone there is there to help each other. It's the give and take.
That's the nature of it going in, which is beautiful.
Yeah. And we're introducing, and everyone needs to follow her, I say, the 12 women. We've nominated Tina Servasio, who is the sportscaster at Fox 5 New York, CBS Sports. She also has a show with all women, female sportscasters. She is our Woman of the Year, along with some other amazing women. A woman that's writing a movie called Talks, which is about female dysmorphia and helping women with the way that they feel about themselves. The stories are amazing. They're exciting. They're emerging brands that need recognition. So the 2 months up to it, we will be talking about all of them on Pass the Crown Around. And then this day will be a brunch, because it's on Saturday, International Women's Day, honoring all the women. They'll all get this magazine that we're going to create. They'll all be in it. And it's from that day forward, everyone connects and helps each other. And the goal is to get this film produced. She needs $90,000. It'll happen.
Do you have somebody? Do you have a producer and film company and people like that already lined up?
This one woman I do. We can talk offline if you have.
Yeah, I have somebody that I'll put you in contact with.
I would love that. Well, there you go.
I will facilitate that introduction. Yeah.
I would love that. I mean, it is amazing when you say something. I realize when you've created your best circle of networking, and I don't even believe that word, the people become your friends. You just naturally want to help each other. And it's just, we all just help rise the tide of each other's causes and missions.
And it makes perfect sense. And now that's part of the fabric of building a successful business.
It is quite simple. Although I'm not saying that I have millions in the bank. Not that I care about having millions in the bank, but I wake up happy and I feel good about what I'm doing. And
that's more than 90% of it right there.
Right.
Okay. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, how can people support your business, your initiatives? Where do they go?
I mean, honestly, my heart is in Morristown at the 1776 restaurant. Without that, I'm gonna cry. Like, it was something that was sort of my springboard. Before 1776, I was a single mom living in Mendham, and it was, that's not the Crimea River, and it was a wonderful life. But I'm just saying, I didn't professionally. I was, working at a bunch of different places, but once this place started, I've been able to just be who I want to be and do what I want to do. So I'd say make a reservation at 1776 Morristown. Dine with us. If you have a special occasion, we'd love to, that it's truly that.
And then you open up the dialogue. That's how I did it. That's how I came to the place. I was impressed. Friends had told me about it. I went, I'm like, holy crap, this place is great. I love the location. I love the food. I love the people, the energy. And then all of a sudden we started doing things together.
And that's exactly true. I'd say 1776 Connects is my most important thing right now, which is our business club. And that's where all these wonderful things happen from. And that's online, 1776connects.com. I would like to grow that membership and be able to reciprocate as we grow. So in Jersey City, we'll have Connects there as well. JC Connects, that's going to be starting this year. And Pass the Crown Around is, for me, more personally, is my passion project. And that's on social media as well. And that's where the International Women's Day brunch is just was posted. Mm-hmm. So 1776 Morristown and Pass the Crown Around. Those are my, and Connects. I'd like to be able to meet more businesses, more entrepreneurs that understand that this marketing from our restaurant, using that as a place to engage with your clients, it's been very successful for a lot of people, and I'd like to grow it more. So those are mine.
So everybody who's listening to us or watching us now, we're looking forward to seeing pictures from Sue's restaurant, and we want to be tagged too.
Not my restaurant, but yeah. But yeah, no, when you come, ask for Sue, because I'd love to meet you if I haven't met you already. But we have a great group of people, the owners, Chance Healy, David Vorcheimer, and George Schneider. They are the owners of 1776 in Morristown, and I have been in it since the beginning. And so take a lot of pride in it, helping bring it to life.
You've come a long way, and I know you have big things to do, but you've come a very long way.
Proud of it. Thank you, Vic.
Yeah. As the final word, do you want anything else to say, Vic or Sue?
Other than the fact that I think this type of a conversation is probably not had enough. And that I urge other folks who are doing podcasts and interviews and things like that to cover more of this conversation, because I really do think it's an important foundational piece to growing businesses of all kinds. Aside from there's the feel good, there's the ROI, but there's also a sound business reason for doing it. So that would be my final word.
Okay.
Amen.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you for all your comments and all your support, your questions. It was a wonderful episode. I'm very, very thrilled that we started this year with this topic. And Sue, you were an amazing guest. And we're looking forward to seeing you again here. And I already have a few other topics that we probably want to discuss with you on this stream.
I love it. This was super fun. I appreciate the invite. And absolutely.
Thanks for making the time, Sue.
Absolutely. All right.
Yeah, thank you, everyone, and have a nice day.
Bye.
See you next time.